Hey, y'all see it, bro? Listen, we got an in-person interview today. Hey, come on, let's go. Come on, listen, I'm excited, baby. Welcome back to another edition, another installment, another episode of the Black Men Win podcast with your boy Tyler Podcast. We are here again with another mother freaking interview. First of all, again, this is our first in-person interview literally since we did our first episode with our boy Marcel back in Grand Rapids. And that was like the first episode of the podcast. So we haven't done a sit down, me next to somebody or face to face since the pandemic. And I'm super excited for this next guest we have coming on the show, this next interviewee. He's a dynamic person. Listen, former boss as well, right? Like
I say boss.
He's a boss. No, but no, somebody who really when I came to New York, who gave me an opportunity and really put food on my table and put money in my pocket. And so I'm so proud and honored to have him on the show. So per our first question, if you are a part of the Black Men Win community, you know how we get down with the first question. We would love our guest to introduce himself, gas himself. You feel what I'm saying? And I don't think he shot at that. So I told him off camera, I was like, listen, you better run down your resume because you out here in these New York, like just all over street. So let him know.
I'm out here trying to do my best, trying to make it happen for myself. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, and I wanted to move to New York City because I love the energy here. I love the vibe, the people here, and I wanted to feed off of that, and I wanted to put that back out. And I feel like that's what I'm doing now, finally. I am Planter Rob. I am a horticultural consultant, and I am currently based in Brooklyn, New York City.
Yes, sir.
I have done workshops. I have done pop-ups. I have done photo shoots, paid advertisement. I created content. I have also recently joined my community board here because I am someone that, probably like you, hopefully like many of you, that want to burn the system down, but also realize and understand the importance of getting involved on a local level and making a change in your local communities as much as you want to see the change happen on the higher level. So
absolutely.
Let's do this.
Man, listen, Rob was like one of the first men that I met here who was mad cool, mad dope, showed me around, and really made me fall in love with Brooklyn. I've been in 3 boroughs so far.
Oh, that's a lot.
Honestly, let me just say that. I've been in 3 boroughs so far. I've been in Manhattan, more so Harlem. I'm living in the Bronx right now. And I've lived in Brooklyn. And I love Brooklyn more. I'm not gonna lie. It's not even close. So, you know what I'm saying?
I would agree. Brooklyn
just has it's a different vibe. Like it's my people. You understand what I'm saying? It's just it's a different energy. No disrespect to the Bronx and Harlem and everything, because I felt very safe. I feel very safe in those communities, but it's just a different energy. Well, even getting off the train coming here is just a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's different, and I love it. And it's very entrepreneurial. Everybody's just out hustling, which is just a New York mentality, period. And so, Rob is, and again, even though he is Planter Rob, this man is not just about the plants. He's about the community as well. Being that he's on the board for,
I'm on the board for community board number
1,
which represents Williamsburg and Greenpoint.
Wow.
Here in Brooklyn. So
like, yeah, you're doing big things. Like you I want him to understand, like, I've known this man for almost 2 years now, and he's just like, I just got to keep going. I'm like, well, that's what you're doing. Right? Like that's what you're doing. You've kind of shifted, you've shifted more into the nonprofit space, giving back and really helping the community at large. And it's amazing to see your commitment to making sure that our community is healthy in a very earthly way when it comes to plants. Listen, I've gotten a chance to work with this man, seriously. And working with him, I told him this off camera, it's made me a whole plant dad.
I'd love to hear it.
Right? I have 10 plants at home now. Now, I'm not gonna say I all wanted all 10 plants, right? And we have more coming, right? In the house, we have more coming, but it's made me more aware. It's brought me more joy. I don't know. It's a weird thing, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
that's exactly what plants do. They make you more aware. They do bring you more joy.
They
and
do.
I'm happy you mentioned being more aware, because that's exactly why I try to use plants for my platform, is to bring awareness to different issues. And
Absolutely.
if you're able to look at a plant and you're reminded to, fight for someone else's rights, or just to show up as a human in humanity today, or just be a good participating member of society that day because you have this plant and this plant has inspired you and give you a purpose and motive for the day, then I feel like I've done my job.
Absolutely.
And success for me, I feel like, has evolved and continues to evolve and looks differently and continues to grow into different things. And I feel like as Black men, we have I don't know, a narrow idea of what success is, and
Absolutely.
what that looks like once you get there. And for me, I'm all about showing up authentically
Right.
and expressing myself authentically, and hoping to inspire others to do that as well. And plants have just given me that road to do that. So,
Well, listen, we want to give you your flowers. Give them some hand claps. You know what I'm saying? Let go ahead and give them them hand claps real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, and we got to change our choir, because our choir is getting sappy. We got to change our choir around. Those hand claps are just getting a little retarded now. Excuse me, but no. But man, you really are, in a short time, really doing big things, for not only yourself and for the community at large, in a just the most, you can say, like, simple way. Hey, come learn about some plants real quick, right? Come learn, come buy a plant, right? And the funny thing about it is, everybody got a plant in their house, low key.
yeah,
Everybody got at least one. Even if you wanted to try, even if you got a little succulent cactus, right? You got one.
you got something.
You got something.
Yeah.
So it's gonna connect, and it connects. And I've seen it in action, and it's amazing. Rob, we got some questions for you. And usually when we dive into these questions, we tend to get a little deep, right? We tend to get a little deep with the questions, just a little bit, not too much. But these are questions that are meant to really tackle, um, what the next generation kind of needs to know, going forward. We are now, I say this every time on the show, we are now we're becoming the fathers, uncles, teachers, educators, mentors. We are of that age now, to where, you know, they're kind of calling us old now, right? And once we start hearing that, and once we start hearing that, it's like, okay, not old in the sense of, maybe age, but I always take it as a thing of wisdom. So when we come to the second question, I talk about these five Ferris wheels, or as our last interviewer said, like these five pillars, in which we talk about spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, financial, and the mental part of everything, right? When it comes to a Black man, I feel like those are the five pillars that kind of make up the fabric of the inner of a Black man, that we have to continuously put, check and make sure we're checking off every box. And sometimes we make sure that our financial and our physical is kind of better than our our financial and our physical is better than our emotional, spiritual, and our mental. So how do you see us as Black men kind of in those five areas? Are we, do we need to pour more into the first three when we come to the spiritual and the mental and emotional? And then the other two will come, because kind of that's my philosophy. If we pour more into those three, then the other two will come. Because we've poured so much into the first two, and it's killed us.
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not even trying to be funny in that. It really has killed our community, especially as Black men. And so I just wanted to get your take on that right there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I do sense that Black men has kind of been put in a box by society to either um, grind until we die, right?
Right.
Or
Right.
work really hard,
Yeah.
or save money, or if you have money, even to flash it to show that you have money, right? That's
Right.
also another
Right.
something that we've been kind of conditioned to do, or stereotypically been shown to do as well.
Right.
For me, I think all five pillars are needed for any
Absolutely.
community, for any type of success. I've recently been reading Children of Blood and Bone, and not to give too much away, but it's basically about a community of people with special powers, and each power is very different, and they all are needed to kind of defeat their enemy, and
Right. Right.
no one or no other is one more or less than the other. And with that, I feel like we do need our emotional Black men to step up and be
Right.
emotional. We need
Right.
to make
Right.
space for those just as much as we need our financially savvy Black men to step up
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if we're constantly searching for this perfect balance of having all five, we'll constantly be searching for something that's not there. And with that, I kind of feel like that makes us weak, and I feel like we shouldn't have to follow on all five pillars to kind of stand on our own ground.
Right.
But like you said, it's good to focus on those that resonate more with you. For me
Right.
personally, I'm more of an emotional person. I'm more
Right.
of a grounded individual. I'm more of an educator. I'm more of a nurturing type
Right.
individual.
Right.
But in society, we live in a capitalistic society, so I do know I have to be financially savvy as well. I have to know how to handle my money, how to make money,
Right.
to continue to support
Right.
myself and my dreams. And so I guess all that being said, it's really best for you as a Black man to know
What's good for you.
what's good for you.
Right.
What do you bring to community?
Right.
What can you bring out of the community?
Right.
And for me, like you said, it's being a very simple message of plants and essentially advocacy. And
Absolutely.
That's where I'm pouring my energy into right now, and hoping
Right.
that it kind of builds those other pillars up as I continue to grow.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't. We don't want it to make it feel like you have to just, make sure you're consistently heavily pouring into all five, right? Because you're gonna miss some, right? I know I miss the spiritual part a lot. We all, as Black men, sometimes miss the spiritual part a lot. We sometimes miss the emotional part. But even if it's just trying, right? I've always said, if you try, I'm not even saying to do fully, but just try. Tap in a little bit, little by little. Hey, if you mess up in that area because you tried, hey, that's okay. Right. I think that's the thing that we're trying to say. It's okay to try, fail, and then try again. Right. And so when we talk about those five pillars, those are just the five pillars that I believe we as Black men really have to hold up. Even if it's just a little bit, even if we're trying just a little bit to tap into it more. And I see it more honestly when it comes to being in 2022, and as the times continue to change, I see more Black men tapping into, like you said, the emotional part and the spiritual part and the mental part, especially that mental part, right? We've tapped in so much with mental health, with therapy. We've had so many people come on this show and say Black men go to therapy. They're going to therapy. You know what I'm saying? The things that were kind of cliche and under the table, swept under the table. Oh, you crazy. Now it's like, maybe you need to, check out a therapist. And there's so many avenues for therapy, not just in person, but because of the pandemic, now you have like Talkspace and all of those, therapy apps that can work. So we've come a long way for real.
I feel like I have really enjoyed the evolution of spirituality in Black men.
Right. Yes. Yeah,
I've enjoyed watching how that looks today in 2022.
Right.
I think I saw a stat somewhere that said like over 6% of Black families are now separating from the church, and it's and that of that 60%, that the age group is like 20 to 32.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we are as a people are coming into this awakening, this renaissance, if
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah, another one.
where we're questioning things, where we're asking questions, and we're more curious about
Yep.
systems and the way things are. And if things, especially with our generation, if it doesn't add up, if it doesn't make complete sense for
If it
us,
don't make money, it don't make sense.
we're
We
not
like,
doing
what
it.
is happening? What is happening?
Exactly.
You know, like what is going on? And a lot of, and sometimes I think we're kind of the generation that kind of bridges a lot of gaps,
Mhm.
right? Because we hear from the older generation that, oh, your generation is yada yada yada. They don't like to listen and everything. And then the generation behind us is like, oh, we know everything. What the hell is they doing? Oh, these policies is now listen. As I've told OGs and young folks alike, bro. OGs, these young guns are probably like y'all when y'all were in y'all 20s, y'all young 20s, looking at all this chaos around the world, ready to do something about it, ready to go outside, act a fool. You understand? And not even act a fool, but act a fool in a sense where they're gonna put their bodies and their lives on the line. Was that not some of y'all parents or some of your brothers and sisters when they were 21, when those civil rights movements was happening and all of that shit was going down in so many Black communities around the world? It was a lot of kids
right
at that time who wanted to go out and fight for our community and put their bodies on the line. And hell, they did.
Right.
There were kids who were 16, 17 getting arrested. Come on now, we've seen some documentaries.
Right.
We've seen kids in the back of those old school police cars and everything getting arrested. Why? Because they're fighting for our rights. We're the ancestors of that.
Right.
So to get mad at the younger generation, I can get it, but look at it in that framework. And to the younger generation, I would say learn. Be able to have space to learn from our OGs because they have more wisdom than you. That's just flat out, period.
I agree.
That's just flat out, period. As young Black men, sometimes we think we know everything. Real talk. We think we know everything. And just because we've experienced it in a way that's different than our OGs, we think we think we know better. No. Because they've probably been through more hell and back than we will ever know. So I always say, listen, have a conversation. Stop fighting each other and have a conversation. I said, we all trying to fight the same fight in a sense.
Right.
I said, we all trying to fight the same fight. I know technology don't help at all at, you know what I'm saying, with everything.
But in a sense it does.
And it does.
I'm glad
right.
you brought up us being the bridge or the gap generation, because we are that. We were the generation that were still, able to play outside in the streets and still got called home when the street lights came on.
Right.
We were that generation. We were the generation that had the candy ladies in our neighborhoods.
I miss the candy lady, bro.
We play, hide and seek and tag outside, right? That was our generation. And we were also the generation that first got the computer.
Yo,
we generation to be introduced to
Rob,
the internet.
I always say we were the first social media, like
we were the first
dummies.
Social media.
Yeah, we were the test dummies.
Exactly. And we are also the first generation to kind of put words to what has been happening to us as people.
Absolutely.
Over the years as well.
Absolutely.
And now that the next generation have those words that we put together, they're running with it. They're running with it.
They know what to do with it.
And that's exactly what we want them to do.
And
the generation before us was just running.
Right.
I feel like the kids today are just running. And that's not
what it is. I understand and I get it to the OGs. I get it. But I'm like, both parties have to be willing to learn, right? And this goes into our third question. I love it, right? Because on our show, Rob, we talk a lot about generational patterns. We don't say generational curses anymore, right? Because a lot of times when we say generational curses, and I always credit our boy Eugene, who was on our show, he always he said to us, he said, listen, We talk so much about the curses, but we don't talk enough about the generational blessings that our ancestors have handed out, like passed down those powers that they have passed down to us. And that got me to thinking. I said, you're so fucking right. You're right. Absolutely. 100%. So we changed that up instead of stop saying generational curses as patterns, because even though we do have some bad patterns that are in there, there has been some good that has come out of what we have seen, even in today. So what are some generational patterns that you have seen personally in our community, even particularly as Black men, that are positive and are negative in a sense where they're kind of moving us forward and also pulling us back?
Yeah. Okay. So that is a good question, especially for someone. I'm a third generation Robert Edward Jeffery the third. So
Wow.
I
Right.
really
Oh,
have
wow.
a good sense of these patterns.
Absolutely. You
Kinda
are
looking back at-
generational for real.
Yeah. So some of the positives I see, my father is very strong-willed and very, I don't want to say stubborn, but when he believes something, he believes it with his whole heart,
Right.
wholeheartedly, and full intentions on just keeping that belief alive. And that is something that I do value in him, even if it doesn't always benefit us as a whole.
Absolutely.
I do value that, and I do also see that as a negative as well, because it does hold him back from kind of experiencing new things or being open-minded to having new beliefs, and that alone could lock you away and keep you away from certain information, which is gonna hold you back. And I feel like that's a problem that also comes with getting older and aging and just losing touch with what's happening in today's society.
Right.
Another pattern that I find is a positive for Black men is that we will. I feel like unrelentlessly support our families and stand up for our families and be there for our families. And I will say families look very different for many of us. I know that my father would put his life on the line for my family for sure, and I know that my cousin will do that for his family as well.
Right.
But I know that a lot of us don't have those fathers or mothers that have been supportive of them, so they wouldn't put their life on the lines for their fathers, but they might have put their life on the line for someone that they've chosen to see as a mother figure, or a father figure, And I feel like that is something that's kind of in us, is to choose family and fight and protect that to the death. And that's something I value within the Black community. Some negative patterns that I have noticed, or I see that myself I'm trying to fix, is not being so stubborn and not being so close-minded to trying new things and new ideas and new beliefs. Me being from the Bible Belt, being born in Birmingham, Alabama, that have lots of stigmas against me and lots of stereotypes that I'm supposed to follow suit for. And I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't see myself following any of those. So I escaped and I moved to New York City because I was able to escape those patterns of being basically bred to go to work to die. And I would rather, create and make new opportunities and grow things and build stuff versus being dictated what my life should look like and what it's going to be like. And I feel like that's really heavy in the Bible Belt community. Down there in that area.
I understand.
Going back to what you said as far as being not saying generational curses because of the stigma that comes with that, because I focus heavily on the stigmas. I'm also trying to focus on, or I also am trying to forget saying or stop saying imposter syndrome, because that puts a lot of weight on you and it makes the people in the room, it relieves the weight from them. You know what I mean? And they have created this problem. And so I'm trying to stop myself from saying imposter syndrome as well. I just wanted to say, wanted to bring it up because you said generational curse is bad as well. And I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, because we say it so much. And I think, sometimes in our community, we can make a hashtag out of something. And generational curses was just one of those phrases that just became one of those hashtagable phrases that you kind of heard in every type of conversation that had to deal with um Black communities, and what is going on in those communities, trauma in the Black community, and in every conversation that happened, at least for me, it would be something of a generational curse. And it kind of plays with your mind sometimes,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you just like, damn, do we even, and when you hear it, you don't want to think like everything is bad. But then when you're starting to see Black men getting killed, Black women getting killed, Black kids getting killed on a regular basis on social media, right? Like, then you start to think, those is it real? Is it really real? Like, Jesus, this ain't stopping. And and it starts to think like, well, wait a minute. No, because there are a lot of blessings out here that have allowed the Black community to thrive and be amazing out here. First of all, we built this land. That's just what that is.
Right. Can we talk about how gifted
we
we are?
we built the land that we literally stand upon. I'm sorry to anybody, who may think otherwise, but our ancestors, when they came over here, built everything literally to the White House. And that's no cap. You can look that up.
We built everything.
Everything.
Literally everything.
Everything. And this wasn't even our land. This was the natives' land.
We even built the society that we built the
Hello.
capitalistic society.
Yes.
We were the currency for this society.
Listen, we had our boy Dominic on, and he's a podcast and producer for the Black is American podcast, which literally discusses Black history through some positive Black figures. And one of the things was that he was talking about was that at the time, slavery at that time was a $3 billion business. It was bigger than railroading. It was bigger than seaporting or whatever that was. Any industry at the time that was making a lot of money, slavery was beating it by far. $3 billion, which in today's money would be $10 trillion. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily, y'all. Like, imagine that. That's crazy to me. And so when we talk about those generational patterns, I want people to understand, like, it's not just the curses. We do have blessings. Don't look at your current situation and think like, oh, I'm just cursed and everything like that. Nah, because there's something out of that you can get blessed with, that you can use to help you get out or move forward in your situation. But you got to work. I always say that. You just can't sit on your butt and just like, just ask for it, and then ask and be mad when it comes in a different form than you wanted it to, and you didn't work for it.
You gotta work.
You gotta go for it. And life is hard. We're in an inflation, recession, depression. We're a pandemic still. Rob want another shutdown.
I want to shut down.
He want to shut down. He said, I want to shut down. I'm kind of here for it at the end of the day, because listen, send the stimmies, I'm saying, like, it's to a point where we have to understand that our community is more than just its curses.
Right.
We are our blessings too. And so that goes into our fourth question. What do you see as a Black man when it comes to the next generation? How can we foster and continue to help and guide the next generation individually and collectively?
That's a great question. I recently, well, not recently, I think ever since 2010 is when I came out to my parents as a gay man. And ever since then, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, especially emotionally and vulnerably, having to open up that way.
Right.
Ever since then, I've kind of made a pact with myself to always show up authentically as myself, because I would want the little boy in me to be able to see the man that I am today,
Absolutely.
or I
Absolutely.
would want the little boy in me to be able to have examples of what he could be.
Right.
I know growing up as a little gay boy, I didn't have any examples that I could look up to and want to be around and want to, share with my parents or share with my friends. I could. There was no, no Hollywood figures out there at the time that we could look up to, and so now today at 2022 things have changed,
Right.
and more people are more open-minded, and kind of people are kind of waking up to the idea of people living themselves and being them true selves. I want to continue to show up for that little boy,
Yes.
regardless, and I feel like if we're all the supportive, responsible, creative, fun adult that we all wanted to have as a friend as a child, we're going to impact the next generation. It's important for us to continue to show up authentically as ourselves, to make space for these kids to do the same.
Right.
And when they're given the space to be themselves, the change is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Whether or not we see it, whether or not we're even here to live it, it's going to happen. To this day, I think about my grandmother, and she passed away before I met my fiance. And I think about how even while I was still figuring out who I was, she allowed that space for me to do that.
Right.
And it's because of some of her guidance that I am with my fiance today, and love him today, and am able to fully love him. And she unfortunately won't be able to experience that, but because she had make that space for me, I'm able to do that. And that's what I mean when I say, even if you're not able to live it or see it, continue to make the space for the next generation.
Absolutely. Come on, Rob. There you go. Shout out to grandma, man. You feel what I'm saying? Because that is important. I think going back to what we were saying about the OGs, that's important. That right there is important. It's making space. Everybody ain't like Pookie and Ray Ray.
Right.
Okay? Everybody ain't like that. I'm saying though, like for real, everybody ain't like Pookie and Ray Ray. There is different flavors of black everywhere. I say that all the time. Are you going to make space for that? Just because they ain't your flavor, are you going to not love them? I just I feel the need that in our society today and going forward, we need to make that space.
Absolutely.
That space is important. I don't see nothing threatening by having that space open for gay men, heterosexual men, to especially black men, to come together, collab with each other, talk to each other, have conversations with one another.
Yeah, let me tell you, I was recently at Essence Fest in New Orleans, and to see the sea of black women come together, the variety of black women,
they be coming,
the diversity,
they
of
be
black
coming together,
women,
yeah,
all types of black women, tall, short, straight, gay, lesbian,
yeah,
non-binary,
and they don't give a damn.
Fat,
they don't give a fuck.
skinny,
Yes,
everybody was together,
everybody,
and everybody was intermingling, chit-chatting, talking, walking down Bourbon Street together, going to Botanical Gardens together, on trolleys together, hanging.
right.
Where is the black man essence? Where's our safe space to be our collective selves?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
You're right. Who's making that space?
Are we threatened by each other? Even if it's just a thing, are we really threatened by each other? Not even if it's gay or straight, but are we threatened really by each other's presence? Do we? Because the way I have seen my OGs grow up in a sense, or have me grow up, is never to be threatened by a black man, or never to be threatened by a man, period. But in that same sentence, I see black men get threatened. literally will sit here and tense up and like, what makes you think, first of all, this gay man wants you?
I feel like you have to go back and ask yourself though, because as you're being taught to not be threatened, you're probably also being taught to come off as threatening.
Mm.
Because what's the other side of not being threatened?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think us collectively we're scared of each other. I don't think I
I
don't
hope
want to
not.
feed into that.
I
I don't
don't
think
think
that's the
so.
case.
But what is it then?
But why has it not happened? Yeah, that's a great.
But why
question.
hasn't it though? Because if black women can do it on a yearly basis, and we talk so much about um black males coming together and everything like that. Why don't we do it? It's very separate.
Right.
As black male community, we're very separate. There's a few of us who, are in the middle. You know what I'm saying? We love everybody. But it's really like straight guys over here, gay guys over there, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sick like that. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's really like that.
Yeah. From my experience, that's what it's always.
That's what it's been. Like, that's what it's been. And I've never wanted to do that. I've never wanted to be like that. I'm like, for what? Like, what? I always thought, like, does he want you? He don't want you. And you don't want what for what? What is I always wanted to know what's the issue. Nobody's threatening nobody. I don't think a heterosexual male is threatened by a gay man, nor do I think a gay man is threatened by a heterosexual male. So what is the problem and why can't we come together and actually have our own black ass?
Why hasn't it happened?
That's all I'm saying. Because we need to have it. That's the next level. I really believe in us as men coming together and really having conversations, mingling, having our pop-up shops and everything like that.
Having
performances,
group tours.
What?
Yeah, that would be nice.
We're not kids. This can be adult.
I'm wondering if we don't have it because do we occupy too many other spaces already? Or
or is it because if we do, is there an agenda? I always think there's an agenda of just wanting to see black men, straight or gay, whatever, wanting to see black men just be separated. Because if we there's power and there's money in that. There's power and there's money in that. If we come together, all of us collectively, doesn't matter who you are, what you do, whatever, black men coming together in love and in power and trying to really empower the community. Like, Rob, really do it. That in itself would shake some of even our most famous black leaders.
Yeah.
In a sense where, oh shit, they're real. This is happening. I haven't seen that happen. I haven't seen that happen since maybe the Million Man March.
I'm trying to think of spaces that events or something. Nothing.
Like since learning about the Million Man March, all those black men marching on Washington, I haven't heard or seen anything when it comes close to that as black men just not even just marching in civil rights, but just celebrating us.
Right.
Because we can do that. I think we can do it. I think we can celebrate us.
We should be able to celebrate us.
And that's what Black Men Win is about. It's about celebrating us. We should not be feeling, we should not feel threatened or anything to celebrate us. We can celebrate us like, yo, black men, you doing great out here. Keep thriving. All right, I'm done. So, last question on docket. What does Black Men Win mean to you? When you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you?
Black men win.
Yes.
Wow. That means Wow, that could mean so many things.
Right.
For me personally, Black men win means freedom. It means being able to move about without res- resistance. It
Absolutely.
means being able to create, being able to inspire, being able to grow, being able to be still, being
Yeah.
able to just be, being able to I don't know, just being able for me to win it and be successful. It feels like I'm moving freely through
Right.
life.
Right.
I don't want to put a materialistic thing on win or something tangible on win because I feel like that looks different for many people.
Mm-hmm.
And as I continue in my career, I'm constantly seeking more
Right. Right.
materialistic things because I
Absolutely.
feel like materialistic is not that's not gonna solve this need, this itch for
Wanting more.
wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I'm having to redefine what win is, and for me, that's being able to move freely.
Yes. I feel that. Because listen, when we talk about Black men win, it's not just a podcast. We're not just a podcast. We're an affirmation. Right. And in that, you know, because sometimes you can feel as though, and I've had the itch too, right? Where you feel like you want more, you need more to create more, to do more,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's that material itch. Because listen, I've got the material itch too.
The
So
itch, the itch is real.
Amazon be on tap, boy. Amazon be on tap. But listen, it is. I think it's always a call to tap into something different.
Mm.
You know, tap into something more, tap into something different, or tap into something that you never done before.
Mm.
Right. And that is Black men winning. We want men to understand that you win in every aspect of life. And again, that you can celebrate your wins,
Mm.
celebrate yourself, celebrate the Black men that are around you that continue to guide you and help you.
Mm-hmm.
We forget about that sometimes.
That's true.
We forget about that sometimes.
Ego does step in.
Yes, we forget about that. That ego tells us to nah, just give them the thank you, bro. No. Break that ego down and say, you know what? I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for helping me out during this time where I was slacking or when I was down.
Right.
Open that line of communication, brothers, because that is us being able to win. So I'm done there, man. I appreciate Rob for coming on the show. You feel what I'm saying? Where can they find you? Because he's really big on social media. Let me tell you something.
I'm not that big. I'm not that big. But you can find me on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. I also just got to Be Real. So if you have a Be Real, go ahead and follow me on Planet Robbert that as well. Snapchat. Also, if you are interested in following me in my journey and learning more about my nonprofit and what I do, you can join my email marketing list at my website at www.plantarob.com. You can find out more information about my nonprofit, Welcome Home Plants, which allows me to give plants to those that are now experiencing or those that were experiencing homelessness that are now in affordable housing, whether it be permanent housing, supportive housing, or transitioning housing.
Wow, that's amazing.
I am on a mission to raise funds to be able to gift those individuals with plants and be able to welcome them home to the plant community. And also, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter as well if I haven't said that yet already.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get out of here, what plants do we have here? We have some plants in the house. We couldn't do this interview. First of all, this interview couldn't happen as the first interview back in like in-house shit and doing like, pop-up interviews and everything like that. We couldn't just not let, you know what I'm saying, this go to waste. This was
No.
the first one, right? And so I was like, Rob, bring the essence of Planter Rob, bruh.
Yeah.
We need some plants.
If you haven't learned anything throughout the pandemic of doing like Zoom videos
Yes,
or podcasts,
yes.
you definitely need some greenery in your background.
Yes, you need a little. Listen, I'm like, I just have a white background when I usually do podcasts, but you know, I'm trying to set it up to where I put my babies up in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta make it a little floral. Right. So what plants do we have here? We have a beautiful snake plant.
Boom,
over here.
You got it. Snake plant.
And then right here.
And this is a Ficus benjamama.
Yes.
And it is a easy to care for plant that likes pretty much medium to low light, kind of water once a week, allow the soil to dry out. And it's one of my favorite plants because it's I like to travel, and it's one of the plants that I can leave and come back and not have to worry whether or not it dies.
Right.
These two plants, the snake plant and this ficus here, are kind of my go-to plants.
Always. The snake, I always go for I tell everybody, go for the snake plant. it is so easy to not kill. You don't have to put it in really no light. Little light, literally to max. You know what I'm saying? And it grows so beautifully. You can water it maybe once a month. Not even.
You retained some information.
I did. Listen, I did my thing. Listen. I knew. Listen, I remember, man. I took that job very seriously. I took, and it's just me. I take my jobs very seriously. When you hire me, you hire me. You feel me? And that's what it is. And so I took that job very seriously, just in turn to learn about plants, and even to the point where, again, I'm a whole plant dad when low-key I didn't even want to be. Right? So like now it's just like, okay, I'm learning more, understanding more about the plant game. And so I'm just thankful to Rob. So I thank you so much.
I thank you for coming on board.
No problem, man.
That was a tough time. Thank you.
I know, it was good. It was good. It was tough for both of us, but we both got through it. And I'm very excited for what we've been doing since then, because since then we've both been grinding, killing the game. And so I'm proud to just sit here with you again on this platform, and you know what I'm saying, to just again give you your flowers, man, because you are really out here killing it.
Thank you.
No problem.
You
brother.
too.
Listen, we're doing it.
Here we are. Here we both are. So we're doing it.
Oh man. So again, I thank Rob for being on the show, and I thank you guys for listening and watching at home. Thank you guys so much. Please follow the Black Men Win podcast wherever you listen to podcasts via audio. That may be iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else. Right, we're on Good Pods as well. So check us out there. We have some Black Men Win merch as well. So tap into our website at www.tacmedianetwork.com and then hit the shop button, and you can check out some of our Black Men Win t-shirts. We'll have the sweaters and everything back, you know, when the season, you know, gets a little cooler, because I don't think the heat is going nowhere. No time soon. So tap in, and we'll have all the links for Rob's social media and his website in the description when the episode drops. All right. I love you guys. Peace, love, and hair grease. This has been another one. And we are out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease, man.